Hi, I'm v.i.p.mark. I'm a visually impaired variety streamer over on Twitch. Now today I'm going to show you how you can launch all of your streaming apps in just one double click. And before we get started, please remember to like this video because it does help out a lot. Share it if you could, and subscribe if you want to see any future content. You can also check out my socials in the links below. Right, let's get started.
What's up, gamers?
Okay, now today's featured streamer is rorkscha. Now rorkscha is a fantastic streamer on Twitch. He's a lot of fun and he's great to talk to. So go and check him out in the link in the description below.
What's up, gamers?
Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a new folder. Now for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do it on the desktop, but my actual one is in the documents folder on my C drive, and you can just place it there if it's easy for you. Okay, so we do this by right clicking where you need the folder and go down to new and then folder. The folder will appear and it's just waiting for you to input a name for the folder, and I'm going to call this one automations. Okay, now let's open up this empty folder. We need to find a text editor so we can create the batch file. Now there are plenty of them out there. You can use Sublime Text, you can use Notepad, there's Notepad++, there are a few out there. I'm more comfortable using Notepad, so I'm just going to open that up. Now the two ways you can open up Notepad: you can just press the Windows key on your keyboard or left click on the Windows icon at the bottom left, and you can just type in Notepad. Press enter and Notepad should open up. Another way of doing it is to hold Windows key and press R. That'll open up the Run dialog box. Type in Notepad and press enter, and Notepad should just open up. So now that we've got the text editor open, the first thing we need to do is save it. So you can go up to the file at the top left in the menu bar and go down to save as. You can also just press Control, Shift and S, and that should open up the same window. You need to locate where the folder is that we're working with, and this is the automations folder on my desktop for this purpose. And then in the name field, we need to get rid of anything that's in there, and I'm going to call this one Start Streaming. Now the most important thing for this is put .bat at the end of it. If you leave the .txt, it's just going to create a text file and it won't do anything for us. This is the .bat file, and that's a batch file. Now that's the file that we need, which will be a shortcut to put all our stuff in, and there's one shortcut can launch everything then. So now that we've saved the batch file, I'm just going to quickly Alt-tab across to the folder that we created, the automations folder, just to show you what it looks like. Now it's just a square icon with a couple of cogs in it, and that's the batch file, so that's perfect. So let's get back into the text editor. I'm just going to Alt-tab back across, and the first thing we need to do is type in the @ echo space off. So it's @ ECHO space OFF. Now what that does is it stops command prompt, which is the black window with all the programming text and the file paths that will be running in the background when this comes up. It'll stop that from persisting. It'll make it just go away when you're finished, because you don't want it to stay on screen. Now we need to go on to line 2. So hit return, or enter, and type in start, and then a space, then open up the double quotation marks. Now we need to know the exact name of the program that we're using. Now I'm going to use Firebot for this, and when I look at the Firebot in the shortcut, it just says Firebot, but if we were to just put Firebot in, it wouldn't work. We need the exact name of the app that we're using. So the shortcuts here, I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to go down to properties. Now that we're in the properties window, we're just going to go to the target section. Now that the entire address for the program is stored in this target section, but we only need the name of the program, which is at the far right. So if you go all the way to the right of it, and you'll see here it's Firebot space v5.exe, and then there's a quotation mark at the end. We're going to leave that quotation mark in there for this. So we're going to highlight all of that text to only where it says Firebot v5.exe, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to copy. You can also just hold Control and press C, it does the same thing. And then I'm going to Alt-Tab back into the text editor, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to paste. You can also just hold Control and press V, it does the same thing again, and that pastes it in. Now you need to make sure that the quotation marks are on either side. Now we left one in on the right, so we just need to make sure that the one on the left's in there as well. Yeah, looks okay. Now what I need is the entire location of the program that you're using. So I'm going to Alt-Tab back to the properties window that I left open. I'm going to left click anywhere inside that target window. And then I'm going to hold Control and press A, that's to select all. Now I'm going to copy it again. You can right click and select copy, or you can Control C. And then we can hit escape because we don't need this properties window anymore. So when we're back into the text editor, make sure you've got a space just after where you've ended the quotation marks. And then you can paste it in by right clicking and selecting paste, or you can Control V. And now you need to make sure that the quotation marks, just double check that the double quotation marks are on either side of that address. Now that that's done, just hit return or enter, so you go on to the next line. Just type the word exit, and then we're done. We just need to save it. So you can hold Control and press S, or you can just go up to File in the menu bar and go down to Save. So now I'm just going to close this file down. I'm going to hold Control and press W to close the window. And then I'm just going to Alt-Tab back to the folder where the batch file is stored. And we're just going to double click it and test to see if it works. Okay, so hopefully Firebot's just going to open up. Yep. That looks good. Firebot's opening. Perfect. So we've successfully created our batch file, but it only opens up one app. So let's add some more to the list. So to add more apps to our batch file, we first need to right click on it and go up to Edit. Left click on Edit and the text file should open up again. For the most part, adding more apps is just a case of repeating the process. But for OBS, folder locations and for websites it's slightly different, so we're going to cover them later in the video. So now that we're in our text editor, just go down to where it says Exit at the bottom and left click just before the word Exit. Now hit return or enter to drop it down a line, and then go back up to the line, the empty line that we've just created. Type the word start with a space, open quotation marks, and then we're going to need to find the app name that we're going to use. Now I'm going to use Board for this one. Board's basically a virtual stream deck that you can use to control OBS and your Twitch streams. So we're going to find the shortcut, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go into Properties. Once the Properties window is open, I'm going to go over to the Target section, and I'm going to go all the way to the right again. I'm going to find the exact name of Board. In this case, it is Board Receiver.exe. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to use Control C to copy it. And then we're going to Alt-Tab back to the text editor that we've got open, and we're going to paste that in using Control V to make sure that the quotation marks are both there. Let's Alt-Tab back to the Properties window and get that entire target field. So I'm going to left click in the target field, I'm going to Control A to select all, and then I'm going to Control C to copy it, and then we can close that down now, so I'm going to hit escape, and back in the text editor I'm going to Control V to paste it in. Just checking to see if the quotation marks are there at the beginning and at the end. Yeah, there's one at the end and the beginning. Yep, so it looks good. The next app I'm going to add is Snaz. Snaz is an app I use for countdown timers and up timers. It's really versatile. So again, we're going to right click on the shortcut file for it and go down to Properties. Once the properties window is open, let's find the target field again and get the exact name of the app. So let's highlight the name and Control C to copy it, and then Alt Tab back to the Notepad file and Control V to paste it in there. And let's close the quotation marks and make sure that there's one on either side. Put a space in, and then we're going to Alt Tab back to the properties window again, and we're going to get the full address of the app in the target field. We're going to highlight it all, Control C to copy it. We're going to press exit because we don't need this window anymore, and then we're going to Control V to paste it into the text editor. Just make sure that the quotation marks are on either side of the address. And then that's it, we've added snaz. Just a couple more left to do. There's just 2 more apps I'm going to add to this batch file for this video. Alt Tab to the location of the shortcut for stream labels that I have. And again, just right click it and go to properties. Find the target field, go to the end, and highlight the name of the app, streamlabels.exe for this. Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to Alt Tab back to the text editor. So let's type the word start in again, and then space, then open quotation marks, and I'm going to Control V to paste it back in. Let's just make sure the quotation marks are on either side of the name again. Okay. And I'm going to put a space in after it. We're going to Alt Tab back to the properties. We're going to left click in the target field and Control A to select all. Control C to copy it. We're going to press escape because we no longer need this. And then in the text editor, we're going to Control V to paste it in again. Again, quotation marks, let's make sure they're on either side of the address. And that stream label's added. So let's get Steam in there. Find the location of the shortcut for Steam. I'm going to right click that. I'm going to go to properties. And once the properties window is open again, we're going to go to the target field and we're going to find the exact name of the app. So it's steam.exe. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to Control C to copy it. And then we're going to Alt Tab back to the text editor. One last time, we're going to type the word start. I'm going to put a space. And I'm going to Control V to paste it. And let's make sure that the quotation marks are there again. Yeah, that's okay. We're going to press space. We're going to Alt Tab back to that properties window. I'm going to highlight the whole address. And then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to press escape because we don't need this anymore. And then we're going to Control V to paste it. Just make sure the quotation marks are there. If they're not, put them in manually. And that's it. That's all the apps I'm going to use for this section of the video. So let's save the file and test it. So let's just double click on the batch file and watch it run. Saw the Oran board pop up there. Snaz is open, Firebot's open, Steam's open. All looks good. Let's close these files down one by one to show you. As well as all the apps I launch in the batch file, I also like to launch a Windows folder which contains all the game shortcuts that I currently have installed on my computer. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that as well. Adding a folder location to the batch file is done in a pretty similar way than we did earlier. So we're just going to drop the exit down a little bit by hitting return or enter just before the word exit. We're going to go up into the space that we've just created, and we're going to type the word start. And then a space, and then we're going to open up the quotation marks. And then you need the name of the folder. In this case for me, it's simply games. Then close the quotation marks, press space again, and then open up the quotation marks, and you need to locate the folder. So here's the folder open. Now at the top in the address bar, you can just left click anywhere just to the right of where the address is, and it'll open up the full URL. So you can Control A to select all, Control C to copy it, and then I'm just going to Control W to close that window down. And then back in the text editor, I'm just going to Control V to paste it, and I'm going to just close the quotation marks down. Okay, so we've just added a folder to the batch file, so let's save it again. Let's close it down. I'll use Control W to close it, and then let's test it. Let's double click on the batch file and watch it run. So there's all the apps open, and there's the games folder as well. It's all good. Perfect. I'm just going to close everything down one by one just to show you what's opened. SNAS has opened, so I'm going to close that down. Steam has opened, so I'm going to close that down. Firebot has opened, so I'm going to close Firebot. Stream labels, I'm going to close that down. Leorin board, so we'll close that down. And there's the games folder. Perfect. So that's how you add a Windows folder to your batch file. To monitor things during a broadcast, I like to have my Twitch stream open in two separate browsers. I use Google Chrome and Firefox on different monitors for this, and that way I can check to see if there are any lag, any frame drops, or just to see if the stream's still running and I'm not just talking to myself. So I'll show you how I add specific websites to the batch file so that they will launch as well with all the rest of your apps. So to open up specific websites using the batch file, we're first going to need to open the batch file up in the text editor again. So right click on it and go to edit. Now that the text editor's open, we need to go down to just where it says exit at the bottom again. Left click just before the E in exit and press enter or return just to drop that down a line, and then go back up into the space that we've just created. Type the word start and then a space. Now we don't need quotation marks for this one, so don't put them in. We just need to put the word Chrome in this case, so it's just chrome.exe, so CHROME.exe, and then a space, and then the exact web address that you need to open. So in this case, I'm just going to use my Twitch page, so it's going to be https://www.twitch.tv/v_i_p_mark. And if we were to save that and then launch it, it's just going to launch all of those apps and the folder that we've got in there, as well as the web browser Chrome to my exact web page. So to open up another website in a different tab, we're just going to repeat the process again. So let's drop the exit down again and type start, the space, chrome.exe, space, and let's do Rorkscha's site this time. So https://www.twitch.tv/Rorkscha. And that'll open up Google Chrome in two different tabs now, and you can just repeat the process for as many tabs as you like. Okay, so let's do the same for Firefox. So let's drop the exit down again. In the space, let's type start, space, firefox.exe, space, then put the web address. So I'm going to put my TikTok for this, so http:// Oh no, let's put the S in. So it's https://www.tiktok.com/v_i_p_mark. So let's just put another tab into the Firefox browser just to show you that as well. So it's the same again. Drop it down. Type in start space firefox.exe space https://www.speechchat.com. That's just the website that I use to read out my chat to me during a stream. So let's save this again, and then we can launch it and see if that works. So it's launching all the apps, the folder, the websites, everything should be running smoothly here. Let's just close things down one by one so I can show you. There's SNAS, there's Steam, Streamlabels, Leorin board, give that a second to close, Firebots, and here's the websites. So there's rorkscha's page, looks good, and there's my page, looks good there as well. So that's Google Chrome. Close that down. There's the games folder, and here's the Firefox browser. That's the speech chat website, and I think I put an error there in the TikTok because
www.tiktok.com/v_i_p_mark.
Ah, yeah, there's a W missing. So let's just put that in. Right, that works now with the W in. So let's go into the text editor. So I'm going to right click onto the batch file, go to edit, and now that the text editor's open, we're going to find where we've got the TikTok address, and we're just going to add that extra W in. It's not a video without troubleshooting, is it? I'm not going to bother to launch the file again to show you because we know it works. I've just added the W in there and it's fine now. Now the last application I'm going to add to the batch file is OBS Studio. I've left OBS till last because it's the most difficult to get right and it's slightly different than the other apps to add to the batch file. And if the batch file isn't located on your C drive, it doesn't seem to work. So locate it in your documents folder or on your desktop and then it should work fine. So let's get back into the text editor and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, let's open up the batch file again. Right click and go to edit. Now that we're in the text editor, we're going to go just down to the bottom where it says exit, and just before the E we're going to hit return twice. And then we're going to go up into the first space. I'm going to put CD, that's for change directory. So it's CD space, then we need to find the exact location that OBS is installed. So I'm going to find my shortcut and I'm going to right click it and I'm going to go to properties. So we're not going to use the target field this time, we're going to use the start in field. And we want to copy all the text that's in that start in field. So just click in it, Control A to select all, Control C to copy it, and then we're going to Alt Tab back to the text editor. And then you just want to Control V to paste it in. Now we don't want quotation marks this time, so let's remove those if there are any there. Then we're going to go down to the second empty space that we created, just below the CD. And then it's the same process that we use for the other apps now. So it's going to be start, space, and then open quotation marks. And then we need the exact name of the application. So I'm going to go back to the properties. And in the target field, I'm going to go all the way to the right again. And I'm going to highlight the application name, which in this case is OBS 64.exe. I'm going to Control C to copy it. And then I'm going to Alt Tab back to the text editor again. Control V to paste it in. Let's make sure that the quotation marks are on either side of the name. Once that's done, we're going to put a space at the end, and then we're going to Alt Tab back to the properties window again. We're going to get the entire target this time. So in the target field, we're going to left click inside of it. We're going to Control A, select all, Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to hit escape because we don't need that anymore. We can close it. So back in the text editor, we're just going to Control V to paste it in. And just ensure that the quotation marks are on either side of the address. And that should open up OBS. Okay, so I'll run through that quickly with you again. On the first line, you need to put CD space, and then you need the exact location of where OBS is installed. But it doesn't want to have the executable file at the end of the address, it's just the folder location. Then on the second line, it's just the same as everywhere else. When you're launching apps, you just need to put start, space, open quotation marks, the name, which is OBS 64.exe in this case, and then close quotation marks, and then you want a space, and then you want to open the quotation marks, and then you want the exact file path of OBS, including the OBS 64.exe this time. Close your quotation marks, and then you're done. So I'm just going to save this. I'm going to hit Control and W to close the window down, and then I'm just going to find the location again of the batch file, and I'm going to double click it to test it. Hopefully we don't get any error messages, although it looks like there may be one there. Okay, I'm just going to close down all these apps. So there's Firebot, close that. Snaz, Steam, Stream Labels, Leorin Board. Give that a second to close. There's Chrome. Oh, there's the warning just above it.
OBS is already running.
Ah, that's telling me that OBS is already running. That's good. That means that the link worked perfectly. That's great. OBS is attempted to open, but I'm using it at the moment to record this video. So that's great. So let's close down Chrome. Let's get rid of the games folder. Let's get rid of Firefox. And then that's it, we're done. So I have noticed a few times when I've created these batch files that command prompt, which is the black window with all the file paths and the programming languages, that stays open sometimes, and it's just one extra window that you don't need open. When you've launched everything, that stays there. So I'm going to quickly show you how to close that down once everything else is launched. It's just a little bit extra line to put in at the end of the batch file. So let's just open up the batch file again in the text editor. So right click on the batch file, go to edit. Once that's open, go down to where it says exit at the bottom, just before the E, left click that and hit enter to drop it down a line, and then go up into the space that you just created and we're going to type in task kill, all one word, no spaces, /im. So that's TASKKILL /IM without any spaces at all. Then you need a space, then you need to open up quotation marks, you need to put cmd.exe and then close your quotation marks. That's Charlie Mike Delta .exe in quotation marks, and that's for the command prompt to close down. So you now just need to save that file and close it, and if you've had the issue of command prompt staying on screen when you don't want it there, that will close it down so you can test it and it shouldn't be there anymore. Okay, I hope that helped. That's how to launch all of your streaming apps in just one double click. Now I put a lot of work into this video, so please remember to like it, share it, and subscribe if you're new. And come and check me out on Twitch, links will be in the description below along with all my socials. And don't forget to check out Rorkscha, he's a fantastic streamer and you will not be disappointed. Now I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.